Hi, welcome to Take a Break, Take a Breath for Wednesday, September 15th. I'm Rick Boyer, the pastor of Prospect Presbyterian Church, and Take a Break, Take a Breath is an invitation for you to pause in your day, to just stop all of the things you are doing and sit down for a moment and rest and be at peace in the presence of God who made you and loves you and calls you by name. Each time we come together, I've been reading my way through the book of Romans now. I read some scripture and explain it a little bit, or talk about it a little bit. Explain it is probably an overstatement. And we are up to Romans 3, 1 to 8, if you want to read all of that at some time. Here, Paul turns to, he's been making this argument, and he gets to this place where whether Jew or Gentile, we can't make it better. That the Torah and the outer sign of circumcision doesn't put us right with God and doesn't put things, doesn't make the world right, but it is the faithfulness of God. And so then now he gets to the place of saying, well, then what advantage to being the special people of God? You know, what advantage? And he asked the question, what if some were unfaithful? Will their unfaithfulness nullify the faithfulness of God? By no means. That's Romans 3:3. It reminds me, and Paul's doing this all the way through the book of Romans, he's saying some things that will be expanded later. And this is one where he's going to expand this a whole lot at the end of the 8th chapter of Romans. It reminds me, you know, if I'm unfaithful, does that nullify God's faithfulness for me or for all the world? Not at all. Not at all. It can't separate me. Now, here's the Romans 8 thing. It doesn't separate me from God's love, and it doesn't separate all of the world from God's love. So with that in mind, I invite you to find a quiet place in your house and to close the door if there is a door in that room, and settle into a chair and close your eyes and take some deep breaths. And as you breathe in the breath of God. And as you breathe out all that separates you from God. As you breathe in the breath of life. And as you breathe out all that does not give you life. As you breathe in God's peace. And as you breathe out all of your worries and your fears and your anxieties and your tasks, anything that doesn't give you peace, breathe it out. Breathe in, hold it, breathe out. Breathe in, hold it, breathe out. Imagine God's peace continuing to grow in you. Imagine that it falls on you like the sunshine of a warm fall day. And as it falls on different parts of your body, it warms you up and enables you to relax. Turn your face toward the peace of God and let it fall on your face, and the warmth of God's peace and grace melt away the stress and the tensions in your face. As it falls on the top of your head, let the warmth calm your mind so that all the things that are running around, all the things that are bouncing around in your mind, get still. As the warmth of God's peace falls on your neck, it moves into all the muscles of your neck, relaxing them, taking out the knots and the tensions. And as the warmth of God's peace falls on your shoulders and your arms and your hands, it renews them. And you're able to put down the burdens of the day and open your hands and receive the gifts that God has for you on this day. And as the warmth of God's peace falls on your back, the burdens of the day are put down, and the heaviness of the day is set aside, and the muscles in your back relax. As the warmth of God's peace falls on your chest, your breathing is deep and relaxed, and your heart rate is slowed to a resting pace. As the warmth of God's peace and presence falls on your belly, all of the upset that is there in your belly goes away. And as the warmth of God's peace falls on your legs, your thighs and your calves, and your feet, the warmth penetrates into the muscles, taking away the exhaustion and the aches from running around, and sets you at rest. So you are in the sunlight of God's peace from head to toe. And imagine, if you will, a beautiful fall day. You're walking down a path. You've come to get away from everything. Come to get away from all of the pressures, and as you're walking, you're thinking about getting away from all of those pressures, all of the things where you just feel like you're not quite doing it. You can escape on this path for a moment. You're thinking about the things that, well, those times when you've been critical of yourself and critical of others. When you see in the distance someone walking towards you, and that someone stops and sits on a bench that's along this path, and when you get to the spot where that person is, they motion for you to sit with a smile. And you know this is just not any someone. It is a messenger of God. The messenger of God looks at you and smiles and says, "Why so troubled? You're a good creature of God. Every creature of God makes mistakes. But you are still loved. And you are forgiven." Now I'll be quiet now as the two of you talk for a bit. And then the time comes for the conversation to end, and the two of you say goodbye in whatever way is appropriate. And you allow that image to fade away. And you bring yourself back to the room where you are. And when you are ready, open your eyes. Let's take a break, take a breath for Wednesday, September 15th. If you have feedback for me, or you want to talk or pray, send an email to rick@prospectchurch.org.